When their dads were stationed at RAF South Ruislip in London in the 1960s, Beckley, Bunnell, and Peake founded America. The band was inspired by the jukebox in their local mess hall and adopted the moniker America to avoid sounding like British artists attempting to be American. America, from 1971, the trio's debut album was recorded at Trident Studios in London and produced by Ian Samwell and Jeff Dexter, who subsequently became their manager. That same album was released in 1971, and it had the track A Horse with No Name, which earned platinum in the United States. In March 1972, the RIAA gave it a gold disc for selling over 1 million copies. And it was also a big success in other countries too, not just in America. Following their initial success, the three performed a series of North American club and college performances in early 1972 before dismissing Samwell and Dexter and relocating to Los Angeles, California, where they signed with the David Geffen and Elliot Roberts stable at Lookout Management. By 1973, the band had left Lookout to work with John Hartman and Harlan Goodman, who had split from Geffen and Roberts to form their own management business. America's second album was recorded with the aid of Hal Blaine and Joe Osborne on drums and David Dickey on bass. After Peake became ill with hepatitis, the trio's next tour was postponed until 1973, and Atwood was replaced by old Captain bandmate Willie Leacox. The move, as well as an injury to Peake's arm, caused a delay in the making of a second album. Instead of replacing Samwell, the band decided to create the record themselves. Homecoming, America's second album, was released in November 1972. The album's million sales number was validated by the RIAA in 1975 after it was awarded a gold disc in December 1972. Bunnell's Ventura Highway propelled the group back into the top 10. The trio received a Grammy Award for Best New Artist in 1972 based on their first two albums. Hat Trick, America's third album, was released in October 1973 after many months of recording at the Record Plant Studios in Los Angeles. Blaine joined Beckley, Bunnell, and Peake on drums once more, but Osborne was replaced by traveling bassist David Dickey. The album was not as popular, with only one modestly hit song, Muskrat Love, composed by Texas folk singer Willis Allen Ramsey, and it only charted at number 67 in the United States. In late 1976, a Captain Tennille rendition of the song hit the top 10 in the United States. Following the commercial failure of Hat Trick, America decided to hire an outside producer for their next album. They were able to acquire the services of producer George Martin and recording engineer Jeff Emmerich, both of whom were instrumental in establishing the Beatles' sound. The sessions were held in Air Studios in London. Holiday, the resultant album, was released in June 1974. By this time, the group had consciously begun naming their albums with titles starting with the letter H. The album's approach was considerably different from America's previous three attempts under Martin's direction, as he augmented America's acoustic sound with strings and brass. During an early 1975 European tour, bassist Calvin Fuzzy Samuels, previously of Crosby, Stills, Nash & Young, was brought in to replace Dickey, who was unable to go. Samuels also performed live with the band on the German television show Musikladen, and sorry for the mispronunciation if I pronounced that wrong. The group quickly returned to the top 10 with the first single from Holiday, the bundle-penned Tin Man, which peaked at number 4 and had lyrics that were set to a Wizard of Oz theme. In early 1975, Lonely People, written by Dan Peake, followed Tin Man to the top 10, becoming Dan Peake's sole credited song to reach that far on Billboard, reaching at number 5. Beckley's Sister Goldenhair became America's second chart-topping hit in mid-1975, and the follow-up song Daisy Jane followed shortly after. Peake's reggae-influenced Woman Tonight was the album's third hit, which reached number 44 in the US at the close of the year. Martin collaborated with the group once more on their following album, Hearts, which was recorded in California and released in March 1975. In December 1975, Warner Bros. Published History, America's Greatest Hits, a platinum-selling anthology of America's most well-known songs. Martin, who also produced the album, remixed the tunes, which were taken from the band's first three albums. George Martin produced America's 1976 album, Hideaway, which was recorded at the Caribou Ranch near Nederland, Colorado. The album's two singles, Today's the Day and Amber Cascades, was released in April 1976 and reached number 23 and number 75 on the Billboard Pop chart, respectively. The two tracks are very successful on adult contemporary radio, with successes like Jet Boy Blue and Don't Let It Get You Down. Martin's use of more intricate instrumentation on America's albums proved to be rather overwhelming to the band on live performances, frequently forcing them to move from instrument to instrument throughout songs. For their 1976 tour, the band extended their stage lineup to include Jim Collier on keyboards and sax and Tom Walsh on drums, allowing them to execute Martin's arrangements more easily. Martin and the trio traveled to Hawaii in late 1976 to record the group's seventh studio album, which was recorded in a beach house on the Hawaiian island of Kauai. Harbor, released in February 1977, maintained the group's downward trend in sales. It was their first album that did not achieve platinum or gold status, and none of its 3 singles charted. Dan Peek departed the band in May 1977. In 1978, Peek signed with Pat Boone's Lamb and Lion Records and released his debut solo album, All Things Are Possible. The record, which was produced by Chris Christian, was a hit, and Peek established himself as a pioneering performer in the growing Christian popular music genre. The title track debuted at number 78 on the Billboard pop charts in early 1979. Meanwhile, Beckley and Bunnell chose to continue as America, breaking their contract with Warner Brothers in October 1977 with the release of their first live LP, Live. The concert was recorded at the Greek Theater in Los Angeles with a backup orchestra led by Elmer Bernstein. The event was taped soon after Peek departed the band. The album was only moderately successful on the popular charts, although all of their previous albums, including Harbor, had at least reached the top 30. Live barely cracked the top 30, reaching number 29. In March 1979, after more than 2 years without new studio work, Beckley and Bunnell introduced the group's new sound with a cover of the Mamas and the Papas' California Dreaming. It was on the soundtrack of the 1979 film California Dreaming. Even though the film was a flop and the soundtrack was released by an unknown distributor known as American International, the song peaked at number 56 on the charts. Silent Letter, America's first studio album sans Peek, was released in June 1979 on their new label Capitol Records. The album only reached number 110 on the charts, prompting Bunnell to jokingly label it Silent Record. Collier and Walsh were eliminated from the onstage lineup in the latter part of 1979. Brian Garofalo, a session bassist, took over for Dickey in 1980, and Bradley Palmer took over in 1981. Alibi, Beckley and Bunnell's next album, was released in August 1980. It forewent the strings and brass of a normal George Martin production in favor of a more pop-rock sound. It was the third studio album in a row without a hit single in the United States. However, Survival topped the charts in Italy. America's next album, released in July 1982, was another big triumph for the group. View from the Ground did not earn gold status, although it did reach number 41 on the albums chart. Beckley and Bunnell enlisted the help of several well-known artists, including Carl Wilson of the Beach Boys, who I did a video on, and Jeff Porcaro of Toto. Ballard wrote, produced, and performed all of the instruments, as well as sung the majority of the backing vocals on You Can Do Magic, a song he wrote just for the band. The song swiftly climbed through the mainstream charts, reaching as high as number 8 on the Billboard's pop singles list for a few weeks in October 1982, the band's first significant hit in 7 years. America's 1983 album, Your Move, was produced by Robert Ballard, who also composed the majority of the group's songs. Dan Peek rose from musical obscurity in 1984 with his second solo album, Doer of the World. Perspective, America's 12th studio album, was released in September 1984 in a drastically different manner. Several different producers contributed to the development of an electronic popular style that was highly successful in the 1980s. In Concert, Beckley and Bunnell's final album was Before Leaving Capitol, was released in July 1985. During a 3-week run on the charts in October 1984, the album peaked at number 185. The album's first hit, Special Girl, was written by paid songwriters and failed to chart. The following song, Can't Fall Asleep to a Lullaby, was co-written by Journey's Steve Perry, Robert Hamer, and Bill Mumy, and charted briefly on the adult contemporary charts. After quitting the Capitol label, Beckley and Bunnell were unable to get a recording deal. America was able to offer 4 new tracks as part of Encore, More Greatest Hits, a collection meant to supplement the original 1975 retrospective. Hourglass, America's first new studio album in a decade, was released in May 1994. Beckley released his debut solo album, Van Goghan, in 1995, which explored a variety of styles and sound. After the release of Perspective in 1984, America stopped recording and focused on its profitable touring schedule. Dan Peek returned in 1999 with Bodden Town, his first solo album in many years. Highway, 30 Years of America, a 3-CD box collection released in 2000, featured 64 remastered tracks spanning the group's history. The Ventura Highway guitar riff was sampled in Janet Jackson's 2001 single, Someone to Call My Lover, which reached number 3 on the Billboard pop charts. Bradley Palmer left the touring band early 2003 after 22 years and was replaced by Chas Fritchell and eventually Trent Stroh. Richard Campbell, previously of Three Dog Night, Natalie Cole, and Dave Mason, has joined the band permanently. Beckley released his third solo album, Horizontal Fall, in April 2006 after a few solo concerts, but was generally overlooked by critics and customers. Since 1984's perspective, America has released a studio album on a major label. America's work was admired by Adam Schlesinger of the independent rock band Fountains of Wayne. Several well-known musicians attended the recording sessions at Stratosphere Sound in New York City. The Vocal Group Hall of Fame inducted America in 2006. They will also release an album, Here and Now, which charted at number 52 on the Billboard Hot 100. Back Pages is America's first album since founding member Dan Peek passed away on July 24, 2011. The album was recorded with the help of a variety of studio musicians in Nashville, Tennessee. Michael Woods, the band's lead guitarist and background vocalist, announced his resignation from the band in February 2014 due to bad health. David Dickey, a longtime bassist with America, died on December 3, 2016 in his Sweetwater, Texas home. And then due to the COVID-19 outbreak, America canceled a slew of shows in March 2020. But on July 31st of 2021, America announced its return to the road, and they're going to be touring. They're currently touring right now. So if you want to see America, the duo, right now, you go see them. See if they're nearby you. They're not nearby me, but that's fine. If you like them, go see them in concert. Thank you for watching. Let me know if you want me to do any other people. That's what happened to America. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.